Hey everybody, Taylor Lyles with the Greenville Home Builders Association, and this is the Think Big podcast. Good morning and welcome to the latest episode of the Think Big podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Lyles, Chief Executive Officer of the Home Builders Association, and we've got a unique guest today. Builders, trades, everybody. We've got somebody that's going to kind of help you refine your marketing, talk about the do's and don'ts, go in depth on things that you need to look for to make sure that your business is truly spending money in the right areas. We've got Ben Griffith with Go Digital. Ben, thank you for being on the podcast.
Of course. Glad to be here.
Yeah, excited to have you.
Been on the other side of the camera so many times, it feels different on this.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You feel like you're under the gun now.
Yeah, I was like, why are these guys nervous doing this? But now I'm here, I'm like, man, it's the lights, camera, action, man.
Yeah, I love it. Well, listen, tell the listeners a little bit about Go Digital, who you are, kind of where you came from. I know that majority of them know the family business, so we can touch on that.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll give the whole story here because I think it's a good one. 5 years ago, me and my dad partnered to start a marketing firm for B2B companies. It's a brother company. It's called Go Digital. He's had a long background in software sales and tech sales, and he noticed there was a lot of money being spent in all the wrong ways in that industry. And, you know, I had done a lot in marketing previous to that. And so we kind of partnered together and started that, working primarily in the health tech and fintech sectors, being an outsourced marketing firm, kind of all in one. My family also owns a local flooring store here in Greenville, South Carolina, all about flooring. They're one of the sponsors of the podcast.
Yeah.
They've been in the HBA forever. But obviously, that's a family-run, family-operated business, and we were looking at the books, end-of-the-year books, one year, and just saw how much money was being put into marketing, and then the results that we were seeing at the end.
Yep.
And it wasn't matching up. And so we had a lot of experience in the B2B industries, and so we kind of had the idea, well, what if we bring this B2C, meaning business to consumer? So any of your home service, stuff like that. So we started Go Digital. Core focus there is helping companies that have been founder-led for a long time move into the digital age with digital marketing. So all of these companies that have been spending a lot on billboards, TV, radio, stuff like that, really refine their digital marketing strategy going into we're well into the 21st century right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, you'd still be surprised how many people aren't spending or paying attention to online. So that was kind of the core thought behind that. We say that we are marketing by home service pros for home service pros. So I think we've got a unique value prop in that way. We're not a VC-backed marketing firm that just came into the home service industry.
Yep.
I mean, we grew up in the home service industry. I mean, I remember I was, 10 or 12 helping my grandpa break down at the home show every year. And we'd always go to Stax Omega for dinner on Sunday nights after we broke down. That was a tradition in our family. So we've been in the home service industry for a while, but we've also been in the marketing industry.
Yeah.
So it was kind of the core principle of how we came into being. So helping home service companies go digital.
Perfect. So I guess the concept would be, and I'll use All About Flooring as an example, more traditional. I know your grandfather did a lot of radio.
Yeah.
And that's costly.
It is.
And where your pay-per-clicks and your digital, you can get your dollar to go a lot farther.
And
so
more important than that, I would say you can track success in those campaigns even more.
Yep.
With radio, I mean, you would be leaving it up to a salesperson in store to ask, how did you hear about us? And that's a constant struggle, just having to keep them asking that, making sure it's the right thing. But then the other thing is, well, maybe they heard you on the radio once, but maybe they also walked in. So lead attribution is a big issue. With stuff online, like pay-per-click, it's a lot easier to do. But sorry, I interrupted.
No, you're perfect. So looking at home services, and home services can encompass flooring, it can encompass solar installs, roofs, windows, gutters, doors. I mean, it truly encompasses everything. So home marketing for home services by home service people, that's got to be key for your pitch and kind of getting in the door. So let's dive kind of into, where are you seeing people genuinely, I hate to use this term because I mean money is frugal in a lot of cases, and you've got some large corporations that just throw money out the window. Where are you seeing majority of like your home services not necessarily allocating the proper monies in the right area?
Yeah, so starting back from where we came from as a flooring store, because I think that's a good place to start. Putting a lot of money into radio, like you said.
Yep.
Tens of thousands of dollars. Putting money into random people that would come into the store and be selling a magazine that they, allegedly had 10,000 homeowners that they send it out to every month. Really, the biggest issue I see is there being no real strategy behind the marketing spend.
Yep.
But on top of that, no specific marketing budget either. So spend can be inconsistent, and then channels, there's really no strategy behind it. I'd say another thing that people spend a lot on that I'm not a huge fan of, and this could be just personal, but I've never seen great results on, is SEO experts and social media ads. So I'll start with the SEO experts. If you have a very limited marketing budget, you probably shouldn't be spending $4,000 to $7,000 a month on an SEO expert. You should keep that in-house.
Yep.
And there's just a lot of bare minimum stuff you can do just to make sure you're optimized all the way. And I'd put that into 3 categories here. And let me backtrack. SEO is search engine optimization.
Yep.
That is organic search results on Google, on Bing, anything like that. Making sure that when somebody searches a keyword, like for All About Flooring, flooring store, that your store shows up first in an organic manner, so not a Google ad. But there's really 3 components that I think should be focused on. One is content.
Yep.
So that's putting out blog topics, thought topics, stuff like that. Second is going to be your Google business profile. We're seeing more and more how important having an up-to-date and continually updated Google business profile is for companies,
Yep.
especially here in the upstate, just with how competitive it is in a lot of the home service markets. Having the reviews, having job photos posted all the time, having good pictures of your showroom is really important. The last factor I would say is your technical SEO. So that is, when you get to your technical SEO, you are going to need somebody that has like a minimum amount of experience in, but that's adding meta descriptions to your different pages on your website, making sure your website is formatted properly, you don't have a lot of extra junk on your website, your loading speed is quick. Stuff like that, that when Google sends their crawlers to your website, it's very easy and quick to see what you do, who you do it for, where you do it.
Yep.
And with SEO, the gurus, there are plenty of people that are really good at it out there.
Yep.
But for every person I think that's good at it, there's 10 people that aren't good at it.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot of money that I think can be better spent on something like a Google ad. That's going to see a sooner return on investment, and it's going to be more consistent and easier to scale as you grow.
Let's get real for a second. Are you dumping money into marketing but barely seeing any results? Go Digital can help. Using their marketing matrix, they zero in on your target audience and engage them where it matters the most. Go Digital acts as your full-service marketing team, saving you the hassle and cost of building an entire in-house team or trusting random gurus you found on the internet. It is also important to note that they don't just serve home service businesses. They own one. They've been in your shoes. They know what works because they've lived it. Wondering why I know so much about them? It's because I've been a client for them over a year, and I couldn't be happier with the results. So if you're ready to start winning more leads for less, hit the link in the show notes and schedule a free 20-minute consultation today. Interesting. So SEO, we know that there's a lot of people out there that do it.
Yeah.
But you touched earlier on social media stuff. Like these, I know a bunch of builders think that boosting their post will get them in front of all these other people, and they'll put, I know builders that do the bare minimum, $20, or they'll do thousands of dollars on boosting a post.
Yeah.
Let's dive into that.
Yeah, so, and I hope I don't if I get too specific on terms at any point, just let me know, because I'm always open to explain anything. But when I talk about social media ads, I'm talking about going through and like promoting the post, creating an ad that's non-organic. It's not something you're just posting to your Instagram or your Facebook. It's something you are paying to show people. I've only found one successful use case for these types of ads. And what it is, I'll try to give an overview and not get super technical in it, is there is something called a meta tag that you can put within your website that is going to track all of the people going to your website, and then it can pair their Facebook or Instagram profile with their IP.
Interesting.
So then you can retarget people that have been on your site. Maybe they didn't make the expression of interest, but you can retarget them and then show up in their Facebook. You know, the example I like to give is, because Amazon does a really good job of this, if you've ever been searching for a new bike, and 2 days later, you see an Amazon ad on the side of Facebook, and it's a bike, and you're like, how do they know these things? That's what that is. And it can be it can be a good use case for some people.
Yep.
I think overall you're still paying a high cost of acquisition compared to other sources. But I think more so the way that a lot of companies are doing it wrong is they think just putting the ad out there and creating kind of a very broad target market, like maybe they use age, geography, and interests.
Yep.
And they'll put a significant amount of money into it, but then they don't have the tracking in place to measure ROI. They just kind of do it by ear, really. Like, do we have people coming in the door? Do we have people calling on the phone? Well, we're spending X amount of money, but you have no lead attribution there, and that's an issue. Anytime you're spending marketing money, you need to have good and accurate lead attribution there. So then you can legitimately see which channels are working best for you, and then you double down in those places. So overall, the pay-per-click on Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that, I've just never seen a great ROI on. And organic's different. I think it's definitely important to keep up with your organic social media, especially for builders and stuff like that there's not really the one great channel of outreach.
Yep.
Just having a presence out there, I think is big. So nothing against organic social media, but the pay-per-click on social media, I've not seen the great ROI on. And on top of that, if you're trying to send people to your website, and you're just like, well, at least I'm sending people to my website, right? Like I'm paying $1.50 a click.
Yep.
If 9 times out of 10, if you go back and you have Google Analytics set up properly, you're going to see an incredibly high bounce rate. Bounce rate being people are literally, it's fake clicks, essentially.
Interesting.
It's not people. So I have a client that we've worked with for a while. and they wanted to do some internal ads on social media. And the founder, CEO, we were talking about it, and I was like, hey, just so you know, I'm looking at because we built his website. I'm looking at the back-end analytics. Your bounce rate right now for social media ads, he had about 500 people over 2 weeks click and go in, 99% bounce rate. That is 1% of people are actually getting to his website and doing something.
So for the listener, dive into that. What would cause a bounce rate?
So there's been a lot of talk out there about Google and Meta in particular sending through fake clicks just to be able to charge it through. That's one thing. A bounce rate is defined as they get to your website, they either don't scroll, they stay for less than, I think it's like 3 seconds, or they don't engage in any way. So like they stay on your homepage and go off immediately. So it could be just fake clicks. It could be people who didn't mean to click onto your ad. But it's definitely a metric anytime you're doing pay-per-click advertising that you need to watch, because you need to know how many of your clicks are real, because the pay-per-click on the platform, so what Facebook or Instagram or Meta tells you, that's not the true pay-per-click. True pay-per-click is the amount of people that are actually engaging on your site, and it's typically going to be higher.
Interesting. Deep dive over here. I love it. So we got a lot of companies in the organization, over 1,100 members. It's massive. So when you look at it, we have builders and trades ranging from $500,000 a year to some of your large production builders that are billions.
Yeah.
Let's take a $750 to $1 million member per year. And we got a basic website in place. And the marketing budget for them is $40,000 a year. If you're coming into it, what would you, off the bat, for that owner, say, hey, you need to have these things in place?
So that's a good question. And
I know it's loaded.
Yeah, and I would start with this. It's not the answer you're looking for, because some people may sit here and be like, oh, I would do this, this, and this. Well, the problem is I still don't know who their target market is.
Yep.
Right? So, first things first, I need to know who they want to be in front of. But not necessarily who they want to be in front of, but who they should be in front of.
Yep.
They need the decision makers and the people that are actually going to buy their product. We're not just going to throw money into something and hope it comes back. So I would say that's one thing we really focus on, is taking evaluation of who is our current customer base, how many more are there like these people in the area, and then where are they most active.
Yep.
And you're always refining that strategy, but so let me take a step back. Let's start with the website portion of it, because websites get overlooked a lot.
Well, I think they get overlooked because of cost.
And they're expensive.
Yep.
And I would say if you're at $750 to $1 million a year, we're not the right solution for you for a website.
Yep.
Just being transparent. Most of the websites we do are going to be from your kind of 15 to 25,000 range. So at that point, our website's not, our websites are not going to be the best solution for you. What I would point someone towards is, honestly, go to Wix. Go to some type of no-code, low-code platform. You can have, a tech-savvy younger person in your company build out.
Yep.
Don't make it complicated. Make it one page, have a clear call to action. At the end of the day, what we say a lot, and we harp on this, is Your website's not a digital billboard, and it shouldn't be. You do not want somebody to get on your website and then keep driving by. You want them to make an expression of interest on your website.
Yep. You want to have something that captures it.
It should be a lead generation machine, right? They should be making an expression of interest. Make it super simple and make the next step super simple.
So super simple. Wix. Let's talk about that for a second. Wix is no code?
Yeah, they're primarily no code. I mean, it's like you can use a template and then you can just like write in what you want there. So the difference between like that and what we do is we work, we're fully custom development.
Gotcha.
We will build something from the ground up. We spend just as much time on the design phase as we do on the development phase, because at the end of the day, we want it, again, to be that lead generation machine for our customers. Whereas Wix, you're fairly limited in your capabilities. It's not super customizable, but it's something.
Yep.
And for people just starting off, and it doesn't have to be Wix. There's other website development platforms out there that are no code, meaning you don't have to code anything in.
Yeah.
You don't have to be one of those guys you see with the hood on. Yeah. You don't have to do any of that. I mean, anybody can do it. That's why I think GoDaddy may have one too now. But just have something there that will convert customers. And I mean, that's all you need to start if you're that low.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I've noticed in this organization over the past 7 years is the amount of trades or builders or any professional in the organization, the amount of people that don't actually have a website. And I get some reasons why people don't have it. They don't want to be found. They just do word of mouth. Perfectly fine with that. But if you are a remodeler doing $35,000+ remodels, and I'm going to put the base that low. If you're a builder building $250,000 house or more, again, I'm going to put the base low. You need to have something that shows a brand identity. And having a website in place, getting them on Wix is a great opportunity. Being able to redirect people just so they can find you.
Yeah.
But you're 100% right. Having a call to action, you can have a website, and I'll go to people's websites, and there's no contact us.
It's like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
Right?
Cool. You don't have an address. You don't have a phone number. You've got a info@xbuilders.com. That's it.
Yeah.
And the follow-through rate, and you might know this better, the follow-through rate, if you don't have a contact us form, like a actual built form, I'm not imagining that your conversion from them emailing you is very high. Builders, trades, realtors. If you're looking for a flooring partner you can trust, look no further. I'm here to tell you about All About Flooring. All About Flooring is a family-owned business with 3 generations of owners that know the flooring business inside and out. They work in residential and commercial projects for both new builds and remodels by providing high-quality customer service and installation for carpet, area rugs, hardwoods, laminate, luxury vinyl, and more. Y'all, they even provide professional carpet, tile, and upholstery cleaning. At All About Flooring, they're more than just a flooring provider. They're your partner in delivering top-tier results that your customers will absolutely love. You can find their website linked in the show notes or visit their 9,000 square foot showroom at 2111 North Pleasantburg Drive. Now, let's get back to the show.
Yeah, I mean, and it can't even, sometimes you need to get a little bit more, and again, we're getting more into the custom, so we're kind of getting a little bit off the beaten path of the 750 to $1 million, but you should figure out what somebody would fill out if they're at the top of the funnel, but also if they're at the bottom of the funnel. So if you have a consultation form, if they're closer to the bottom of the funnel, that's a good call to action for them. But if they're at the top of the funnel, they may not be ready for a consultation. They may just be learning, but what you don't want to do is for them to get to your site just to learn and then leave.
Yep.
Because then you have no way of contacting them again.
So, kind of going farther into this, when you have that business, and we'll use a plumbing company. They're $1 million a year plumbing company. Their target audience is new construction and residential repairs. They are a moderately priced company. Are they putting ads on pay-per-click, Google? Are they putting ads on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn? Are they doing that? Like where do you see them spending that?
So I'd say, again, don't pay for a single cent in advertising until you know that your website is going to convert them.
Yep.
We have to talk with clients all the time that just come in, they're like, hey, we just want advertising. We just want Google pay-per-click ads. And, I feel like it's my obligation to say, hey, we can pay for that, but at the end of the day, your cost per acquisition, so cost per form fill or call or email or anything like that, because you can track that all at the website level.
Yep.
It's not going to be a smart use of your money. It would be much better do a quick website overhaul, and then we go into then we can start spending money there. But I would say, so at that kind of $1 million, the website obviously, but especially if you're a service company like plumbing, that a lot of your leads are going to come into a call center, right?
Yep.
It's going to be people on demand calling in. Your Google business profile can be your biggest asset. People may never even get to your website if you have a really good Google business profile.
Yep.
Good meaning you're posting updates on there. You're using keywords, but not just your short tail keywords, meaning flooring.
Yeah.
But flooring store in Greenville, South Carolina. Stuff like that on the updates, because it's not a person in Google that's reading through these and deciding how to rank them.
Yeah.
They can't see, oh, they are in Greenville and they have flooring. Okay, flooring store. It's their machine learning engine that's running through, crawling the profiles, the websites. So make it very straightforward. This is what I do. This is where I do. This is who I do it for. So posting the updates, just having photos all the time, but then also get reviews.
Yep.
I mean, reviews you can get 50 to 100 phone calls a month just from your Google business profile if you're keeping up with reviews, and obviously much more than that. But have a plan in place to get reviews once you're completed a job. And the best time for that is when you're still in contact with them.
Yep.
Don't ask them a week after. They don't care a week after.
Yeah.
Ask them right then.
So, all right, I'm glad you brought this up. So reviews, we all know, and everybody in a service industry, everybody that's a business owner knows, without a doubt, if you piss a client off, they are 90+% going to go and rant a review.
Oh, yeah.
But you have the best experience ever. Getting them to go do a review is, I would go as far as saying less than 10%.
Yeah.
So what are you suggesting to your clients on ways to get people to actually convert on the review? Is it incentivizing the review with, hey, I'll give you a $10, $15, $20 gift card? Or is it, what do you see has worked with the clients that you've worked with to get those reviews?
So I wouldn't say you have to incentivize, but you can always let them know up front. So when you close, your close date to when you're actually done with the work can be months, it can be a year, depending on what industry you're in. But having the conversation, I think, up front, saying, hey, we would really appreciate a review from you face to face. The automations are great, and that's how a lot of people are doing them, right?
Yep.
They're sending the text, and you're going to be under 10%. You're probably around 2 to 3%.
Wow.
there just because people are going to see it, and that's not the person they worked with throughout the process. That's not the number they have saved in their phone. So I would say the best way to do it is ask for it early, and then make sure it's the person they've worked with throughout the whole time. So it's a person to person, and let them know why you want it. Don't and ask for 5 stars. Don't just say, "Hey, can you leave us a review?" Say, "Hey, we really appreciated working with you." And one of the best ways that you can let others know about us is by leaving a 5-star review. Would you be willing to do that? And you don't have to send them the link there, but then you can send them the link after.
Yep.
And then I would say most importantly, don't feel bad about following up on it.
Yep.
Don't feel bad about sending it 2 days later if you don't see a review. Hey, just wanted to make sure the link that I sent worked.
Yep.
Something like that, just to make sure.
So I have a very interesting rub with asking for a 5-star review.
Okay.
So I've always been of the perception, whether it was businesses I've owned, whether it's the association, of if my work is not worth a 5-star review, I want you to truly say so I can get better. So I'll give you an example. We had some work done at the house. This was October, and phenomenal work. Guy did an incredible job on what we needed done. And at the end of it, he said, "Hey, Taylor, I would love for you to leave me a review." And then he kept talking. He said, "But if it can't be a 5-star review, let me know so I can fix it, and then you can give me a 5-star." And to me, it put this perception in my mind that, all right, if everything on your Google page is 5-star reviews, what did you have to go back and fix to make sure you got those 5-star reviews? What did you have to correct? So if it was timing, if it was experience, if it was communication, if it was craftsmanship, if it was cost, whatever it was, what did you have to do to make sure you're guaranteed a 5-star review?
I'd say even more important than getting the 5-star review there, you have a chance to improve your customer experience.
That's a great point.
I mean, if there is, nobody's going to know if they don't tell you. Like, you're not going to know there's a gap in your customer, or maybe you do, and maybe you don't care, and at that point, you're probably not getting 5-star reviews anyway.
Yeah.
But if you do care, right, and somebody lets you know about the gap in your customer experience, whether it's communication or just overall service, anything like that, you have a way to improve. But yeah, 5-star reviews, getting any reviews are going to be helpful. And I found, there's the dreaded 1-star reviews that, somebody puts 25 pictures and 3 paragraphs of 1,000 words, and then it shows up as one of your first reviews for the next year because it has so much detail. I mean, they're the bane of home services existence, but at the same time, I think most people read that and kind of figure out that maybe there were some unrealistic expectations.
Yeah. Setting the goal might not have been what was agreed upon in the beginning.
Yeah.
Man, that's wild. So, all right, so SEO, having a call to action on your website, and just so people listening, call to actions, what would you say is a basic but good call to action to put on it? Is it get a quote? Is it have us out? Is it free estimates? Is it like what is a call to action?
So I'd say
for home services?
I'd say there's probably 3 principles that you want to stand by when you're creating a call to action on your website, like your main call to action, right? I'd say 1, don't put the word free in it. Just when you put free in it, I think it brings the value of it down all the way, and everybody wants to offer something for free. And at the end of the day, you don't want your guys doing a ton of free consulting. At the end of the day, you want to do the work for the people that are going to buy. 2, keep it less than 3 words. You don't want a massive call to action on your website banner or something like that. You want it very short and simple. And then 3, make it an off color on your website. So make it stand out. Don't make it the same color as your nav bar, which is, where you choose the categories, who we work with, yada, yada, yada. I'd say if you stick by those 3 things, and then obviously don't make it hard to fill out.
Yep.
Somebody shouldn't have to put their social security number in.
Mother's maiden name.
Yeah, just to request a quote.
Yep.
So make it simple. So apologize. It was 4. 4 things. But if you stick by those 4 things and then you track the effectiveness, again, like everything, you need to have the metrics in place to track it.
Yep.
Then it's, the differences aren't going to be huge.
Perfect. So in your world, we've got the core principles, and then y'all kind of expand from there and truly tailor the marketing customization to their business, to their target audience, and to their exact clientele they're going after.
Yeah, I mean, no 2 businesses are made the same. Even if you're working with, 2 custom builders, their clients are still going to be different.
Yep.
Overall, their unique value prop is going to be different. So I think a lot of business owners get frustrated when marketing firms don't care enough to learn about their business, learn about who they're marketing to. And I think overall it just delivers worse results.
Yep. Well, I think a lot of specifically on the builder side, I think lead gen is this overarching concept that we have to have lead gen, and you pay into it. And some people just don't have the ability to track, or they don't properly track, or they don't properly report. So the builder's paying in, and they're feeling like they're never getting anything because they're just calling their phone, or they're sending an email, but you don't really know where the email came from. Did it come from the website? Did it come from a social media ad? Did it come from a TV commercial? Whatever. So I think they're looking at it, they're dumping a lot of money into it, and I think adding the clarity of where it's coming from and streamlining the process is crucial.
Yeah, you've got to be able to attribute where your leads came from.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, I think some people think they need a voice everywhere. Like they need to be out everywhere, they need to be putting money into everything. At the end of the day, you need to find 3 good lead channels for you and double down on all of them.
Yep.
So for some people, if take a backtrack here, the plumbing company doing $1 million, because I never fully answered that. Once you have the good website, you have a Google business profile, something like that, Google Ads is going to be your best investment there.
Yep.
And the reason for it is fundamentally when you're advertising, there's 2 different ways to advertise. There is demand capture and demand generation. If you're just throwing out an ad somewhere, like a display ad, so like the ads you see on your sidebar and random websites, with no retargeting capabilities there, you're trying to generate demand for what you do. It's expensive, doesn't always work as well as you hope it does, and it's just overall you're not going to have a great ROI. And especially if you're only doing $1 million a year, your money can be much better spent in Google search advertising, because then you're just trying to capture demand. Somebody's already searching for plumbing in Greenville, South Carolina. All you're doing is you're bidding to capture that demand there. You're not trying to generate the demand. So I think, I would, once you got the website and you're putting out some sort of consistent content on some other platforms, I'd put everything into search ads at that point.
And also be mindful that those may change. Those 3 platforms.
Yeah, and they will always, because 25 years ago, radio might have been the best form of advertising in the area.
Yep.
And I think that it still works for some people. I don't want to completely discount it. I mean, I think TV ads still work for some people. I just think unless you're well into the 8 figures for like a service company and doing a ton of volume, you don't need to worry about brand awareness.
Yep.
Because like if you're doing 1-2 million, people knowing about your brand is great, but you can do that on your own by showing up to HBA events. He's not paying me to say this.
Yeah.
He's showing up to HBA events, going to the Chamber of Commerce, just putting your brand out there.
Yep.
And that's pretty much free. Outside of a couple expenses, but it's not paying $10,000 to be on a billboard.
Correct.
Rather, you need to be spending your money on things that are actually going to be generating leads.
Yep.
In something that you can track, which is why, I'm a huge proponent of great websites and advertising with Google search.
That's fantastic. I said it.
You did.
I said it.
On the mug.
It's on the mug. If you are listening, I was gifted a Think Big podcast mug that says, "That's fantastic." Apparently that is my thing that I've said constantly ever since we started it. I'm just going to have to keep going with it, Ben.
I think you're going to have to, and we're going to have to create a blooper reel where you're just saying, "That's fantastic." There may be some merch to come.
Yeah.
There may be some t-shirts and stuff. I don't know.
We may have like a Think Big merch drop. That's fantastic written across the front.
There you
it's
go.
like Bob's stuff, Bob Minery with
there you
Have
go.
a Day.
Yeah, there you go. Hats, shirts, fanny packs. I don't know.
Ooh, beer belts, the koozie belts. Like that's fantastic across them. Ben, there's endless opportunities here. All right, listen, on social media, comment if you are interested in the Think Big merch, fanny packs, beer koozie belts. We're going to get this thing going. We'll do a big merch drop.
There you go.
It'll be like our golf tournament that sold out in 3 minutes. We'll put
Perfect.
some save the dates out there.
Limited items, get there quick.
Yeah, it may only be 2 of each, but they're there.
Hey, a sellout's a sellout.
Doesn't matter how we got there.
Doesn't matter.
I love it. Well, listen, Ben, thank you for being on the podcast today. We greatly appreciate it. If we have listeners that are interested in getting in touch with you or just doing like a general overview or analysis of their company, how do they do that?
Yeah, so our website's linked in the show notes for every single episode. We do advertisements for the Think Big podcast because we produce it and promote it. So you can find us there. Also, feel free. I'll give out my email. I'll put it in the show notes there. We do offer 20 to 30 minute free introductory calls, just where we learn about your business and we see what you're doing with marketing currently, and give you as much advice and as much value in that 30 minutes as possible. Whether you're going to be a customer or not, we'd love to bring you on the team. But if not, we just want to provide value for people in the home building industry. And we do that in, I guess I never talked about everything that we do, but we do websites, any sort of social media. We do a lot of video content. We're doing this video content right now, actually. Yep. This is being produced by Go Digital, and we do all types of advertising and everything in between. Really what we want to do is we want to stand beside founder-led or owner-led home service, home building companies and be their outsourced marketing partner so that they can focus more on their operations and their customers and don't have to worry about bringing new people in.
I love it. Well, perfect. Well, listen, you heard him, linked in the show notes, and we look forward to seeing you and you hearing us talk about whatever we can on the next episode. Can't wait to see you then. Thanks for listening to the Think Big podcast. If you can do me 2 big favors, if you can subscribe to the podcast to continue getting updates whenever new podcasts drop. And also, if you can scroll to the bottom of the page and just give this podcast a review. We want to continue pushing it out to more people, sharing what we're talking about, and educating more people in the building industry. I would also like to say a huge thank you to two of our sponsors, All About Flooring and Go Digital. If you're interested in sponsoring the Think Big podcast for 2025, be sure to reach out to the HBA of Greenville today. Thanks.